So hello everyone. I've seen the past few weeks that Destroyer is getting a lot of love due to certain Bible websites. Yes, Destroyer is very strong right now, so I decided to do a gameplay walkthrough commentary kind of stuff. First of all, I'd like you to see my character so you know how well geared I am. I have plus 23 weapon, I got a high mid on all accessories, I got most of my books done. I have full H and 2 level 9 gems on perfect swing damage and perfect swing cooldown. And this run I had plus 24 Pulsaza card set. I don't know the card set name, but you know what I mean. Also, I'm running 4 quick recharge runes and 4 Galewind runes. I think 4 quick recharge runes are the highest ceiling build of Destroyer, since you need the as max cooldown that you can get, in my opinion, of course. So let's see this gameplay run that I had. It was around 270 mil DPS. It's around the ceiling of DPS for me right now. Of course, there are some destroyers that can pull a lot higher. Mostly, I think, due to synergies and maybe better card set, like 30 pearls as a card set. It does give you a lot of damage. Now let's see how this gameplay started. Now let me mute this first. Now, when you're playing Destroyer, how to be a good Destroyer. First of all, you need to be a good Destroyer. You don't need to be very good at Destroyer. You need to be very good at recognizing normal patterns. And most of all, you need to be good at being in, I like to call being in sync with the boss patterns. Now, what I mean by this? Let's say we have the first pattern the boss does. It's called pattern A. And this is pattern B. Okay. And between the two patterns, we have an AFK period where the boss just stands still before the boss reaggros. Now, the boss reaggros at the start of pattern B. Let's say here. Now here is the aggro. Okay, this is where the aggro happens. Now, where most people fail. Let's say pattern A is, let's say pattern A is 3 seconds long. Okay. And in order to know what pattern this is, it must take you around 0.5 seconds for pattern recognition. Okay, to recognize what pattern it is. Now, you have, let's see, you have this much time until the pattern A ends and the time of being AFK the boss ends. After that, a new pattern happens and reaggro happens, and you probably miss your frontal if you start charging after this time. So you need to hit your frontal between this and this timer. Let's say around 2.5 seconds if this random pattern is 3 seconds long. Now, where most people go wrong is here. They take too long of a time to understand what normal pattern it is. If the pattern is 3 seconds long and you take 1.5 seconds to see who has aggro and what you can do with this normal pattern, the remaining time you have is not enough to hit frontal, because this is what will happen. You will start charging your skill, the boss will end pattern A here, it will end the AFK pattern here, the boss will re-aggro and will start new pattern. This is like 90% chance you miss your frontal, because now you have too much RNG, because you have new aggro and new pattern. You cannot account for reagro and pattern if you want to be consistent with your frontals. You need to hit your frontal in this period. Pattern A and AFK pattern, AFK timer. Probably the AFK pattern is 0.5 seconds. I hope this made sense. You need to be in sync. If you're out of sync and you're hitting your frontals between two patterns, you won't have high frontal. No way. You must be very lucky. The aggro must be on you. You must have gun lancer, every hitmaster playing frontal, your supports playing frontal and DRing. It's way too hard. Now, let's continue. Let's see how we play here. You see me using heavy crash. The boss now has tendency. You must always start with heavy crash. And I have awakening up. I have awakening. I have T-skill and I have perfect swing up. I have full meter. So I know I want to use my atropine as soon as possible. So let's see how we do. Now the first pattern the boss does is pizza pattern. That's what I call pizza. Pizza is very easy pattern. You just stay front, you get the R, you destroy it, you just super tanky, you can just use your T skill and Z. Okay. Now so I use my atropine. I also use my pot because I use stabilized status. If you use stabilized status, you must always pot after you use atro just to be sure you don't lose like 20% of your damage. So I have stabilized status up. I use my pot, I use my atro, I'm all good. I hit my frontal, very nice. Then I use my awakening as soon as possible because I have 6 seconds of my atro. And I need to use all my abilities. I need to fit another purple, a random purple, and perfect swing with Z in this timer. So I use awakening. I instantly use seismic hammer without caring if it's frontal or not because I just want the damage right now. The boss does a random pattern which you cannot predict, but it just dashes sideways. But I know that just like I told you before, like she did this pattern, but now she's gonna stand AFK for like 0.5 seconds before she reaggros. And right now I'm here. And I know I can fit my perfect swing in this timer. Let's see. It's quite easy to hit frontal here. Also, one thing I did, which you might not catch, is after using seismic hammer, I use auto attack once. Auto attack while you are in Z mode gives synergy to the boss. You see, I have 3 seconds of 3 seconds of synergy. If I don't use synergy, I probably lose 7% damage. It's not that huge, but it's min-max. It's fine. So I use auto attack and then I use perfect swing sideways. Really easy to hit frontal. The boss is AFK. Now I use endure pain. This is very easy pattern to tank. With endure pain, you just use full swing. It's fine. Now let's talk about what your rotation should look like. Now, as you can see here, this is what your rotation should look like. If your T-skill is more than 20 seconds, and perfect swing is not off cooldown, that means that you want to use your perfect swing with Z, you should always start your rotation with full swing, because your whole rotation is gate kept by your full swing cooldown. You need 4 purples to hit full meter, so you need to start with full swing. And then you can use either earth hitter or seismic hammer, it doesn't matter, and then end your rotation again with full swing. Then you use your Z with perfect swing. Now, if perfect swing is off cooldown and T skill is more than 20 seconds, and you start with 0 meter, T skill cooldown, let's say, so it's more clear. T skill cooldown is more than 20 seconds. You need to use perfect swing as your first meter gen. You don't want to use this rotation when your perfect swing is up, because you lose too much tempo. You're gonna take like 15 to 16 seconds to build up your meter, and then you're gonna use perfect swing. I think that with how patterns are and with how RNG, probably you're gonna get like 20-25 seconds rotation. It's too much time to hold your abilities. You need to start with perfect swing. But let's see this example. Your T cooldown is 40 seconds, but your perfect swing is up. Your skill rotation should look like this. You start with perfect swing, always as first. You don't want to use always start with perfect swing. And then use full swing, then seismic hammer, then full swing again. You are full meter. And you are full meter, and perfect swing is like on, I don't know, 8-second cooldown. It depends on RNG, but around there. It's not the end of the world. You just use another purple. Use your theater, for example. And then you use your perfect swing again with Z. As I say, always have as first purple with perfect swing if it is up at the start of your rotation and T is on a long cooldown. You don't want to use perfect swing as second or third meter gen because it will take too long to get it back for Z. If you use perfect swing instead of first as second or third, then you're gonna end up waiting for perfect swing for like 15 seconds. And it's just not worth. You're losing tempo and damage. Now, if this skill is less than 20-second cooldown, then you should hold your abilities, your Z, for T. You should not use perfect swing with Z. Use perfect swing without Z in the rotation. Because even in traction, you need like 13 to 14 seconds to get full meter. In raid, even longer, so your T will be up and you won't be able to use it. And your T is the most important spell destroyer in tier 4. Now, of course, patterns matter and phasing, so don't use this rotation blindly. If you know the boss is gonna phase and you have perfect swing up and T skill is like a 5-second cooldown, but you know the boss is gonna phase, you use your Z with perfect swing. Now let's continue. So I know this pattern is meter pattern. You should always recognize very quickly when you're playing the story what's the next pattern. So this is very easy to hit frontal with. I just use my earth hitter quickly. Now let's see next pattern. This is the blue pattern where she does the blue poops everywhere. It's very easy to hit frontal and not destroyed. You can tank pretty much everything. You have endure pain up. I don't have endure pain up, so I just use my full swing and then I go outside so I don't get knocked up. And I think I use spacebar. Yes, I use spacebar in so I don't get knocked. Now this pattern. As soon as you saw this swirl, you must already know what the next pattern is. So if you want to get better, you need to pause, you need to watch VODs and pause right before a pattern happens, like 0.1 second after a pattern happens, and you must be able to understand what's the pattern. Now, just because of this hand movement, I know that the boss will do this pattern. Something like this. I think you understand what the pattern is. This is very easy pattern if you are in between those lines, or else you will get knocked up. You need to be very close to the boss. Now let's see. Now, you see, this is the pattern I'm talking about. You go close to the boss and you can hit frontal. Now I have Z up and I have perfect swing up. I don't want to use my perfect swing instantly before I see the next pattern. Now let's see the next pattern. This is the pattern. She does those with her hands, those two blue lights. I know that the boss is gonna disappear. It's gonna go dash backwards and gonna appear here, and the aggro, the frontal may be here, maybe here, maybe here. We don't know exactly where the aggro is. It depends on who had aggro at the beginning. Now let's see. So she's gonna dash backwards. I don't wanna use my perfect swing yet. I use my heavy grass to apply synergy, but I don't know where she will appear, where her head will be exactly. Now I see here, she appears here. Now, if sharpshooter had aggro and he was here and he went back here, the boss would appear here, but the aggro, the head will be here. So at this pattern, I never suggest to use pre-firing, let's say, your perfect swing or your T, because you are not sure about where the aggro will be. Thankfully, most of the people in the lobby were staying frontal, so the frontal indicator was very easy to hit. So I just use my perfect swing here. Probably here I need to use my dual pain, okay. She does her hand up like this, so you know you need to go out with poops, okay. The boss is already phased, this group is very fast. I just use full swing. Nothing much to do here. So let's just keep this. This is worthless. Okay, now let's see. Right before I have full meter and everything up. I want to use my T skill as soon as possible and my perfect swing as soon as possible. I don't like holding these abilities on Destroyer. It's DPS loss if you hold too long. Already you know. This is the pattern you should know already. When she does this, her hand up is up like this, and she quickly faces someone. You know this is a pattern where the saws drop down, and she does like this slash and this slash. This is, maybe you guys call it cage. I don't know. I've heard people call it cage. This is the cage pattern. Now, cage pattern is really hard to hit frontal with because it takes two random patterns, two random aggros, and also every aggro is not static. If the aggro player moves, the boss will move as well. It's really hard to hit frontal if you're playing with bad players who keep moving the aggro. Also, when she finishes this pattern, sometimes the boss teleports. As I'm sure you've been hit by this, the boss will just randomly teleport to a random side of the map. I don't suggest using your T skill at this pattern. It's very RNG. Now, but what you can do is use perfect swing. Now see, the second aggro is on Bard. I know Bard will probably stay AFK, so I can use my perfect swing easily from side. So let's see, I use my perfect swing. Now, this pattern you should like 0.2 seconds after the pattern happens, you must already understand what this pattern is if you want to hit good frontals. This is one of three patterns which all stay AFK. This pattern can be the one with like 1,000 lines where every one line does like 50k damage. It can either be this, it can be the two suns that appear and silence you, and shows come to the middle and you need to press G, or it can be the pattern where three poops spawn under your feet and you need to put them out after 5 seconds. It doesn't matter what's the pattern, because in all three patterns you can just stay AFK, the boss will stay AFK and you can hit frontal very easily. So if you see this pattern, you must always cast your hardest hitting ability. It will always hit, doesn't matter. As you can see, it's the lines pattern. Okay, I can tank this, no problem. It's the next pattern. This is the pattern where she does her hands like this. That means it's frontal safe. This is front safe pattern where she does some icicles. Here it's very easy to hit perfect swing, it's very easy to hit this skill. You can do whatever you want with this pattern. Now, let's continue. Next pattern. This is the car pattern. I call this car because it sounds like a car engine. If you listen to the word, it sounds like a car. For me, I don't know, it's weird. Now, this pattern is actually pretty easy to hit frontal. She does a dash here, and she aggros against, and she does another, dash, and she does 180 most of the times. I'd suggest hitting your hardest hitting ability at the second dash, because it's more consistent, but you can hit both frontal. It's quite an easy pattern to hit. As you can see, I know it's this pattern. I use my full swing. Let's see next pattern. This pattern is teleport pattern. You should already be able to understand what this pattern is. The teleport pattern where she dashes to a random location. As you can see, shadows spots. You can either go here, here, or here. So I know I can hit my frontal very easily already. See spawns here, easier theater. Now I see I have full meter, I have my perfection gap. I'm just waiting for a good pattern to hit my perfect swing. This is not a good pattern. Don't hit frontal at this pattern unless you're sure you have aggro. Because the boss has one aggro here, and at the end of the pattern, the boss aggro can be here, here. It's very hard. It's very quick and has double aggro. It's very hard to hit frontal with. I don't ever use my skills here. As you can see, the aggro ended up here. Now, I need to use my perfect swing, as I said, as soon as possible, but I need to wait for a good pattern as well. Now this is a good pattern. She does carry again. So I know I can hit my frontal even at the first explosion. So I cast my perfect swing, it's fine. Then again, I want, after this rotation, you need to start with full swing, as I said. You don't want to start with seismic hammer or air theater, for example. You need to start with full swing always. So let's play this out. I press endure pain, full swing. Let's see next pattern. This is the souk pattern, called souk. I don't know, the sack pattern. Just stay behind the boss. I don't know. I never liked this pattern. Maybe you can use air theater safely. I once tried using a endure pain and I got sacked. I don't know. I just hate this pattern. I just stay as far away as possible. You can use air theater probably pretty safely. I should have used it. Now someone got grabbed. I'm just waiting to hit full swing sideways. This is the blue pattern where you need to spacebar. If you have full Z and T, you can just cast them both. You don't need to spacebar. You can just immune the whole ability. I don't have it up, so I cannot use it right now, but you get the gist. Now, so I use spacebar. I get called, I think, for dark grenade. I throw dark. I play it very safe. I go for counter. I have both T skill and perfect swing up, so I use my perfect swing as meter gen because I want to use my T skill with full meter. Also, I'm watching the meter of the boss. I know the boss will soon go to the middle and to the maze, so I'm not really worried about hitting frontal. I know it's guaranteed when it goes to middle. I'm just trying to build my meter up. So let's see. Yes, as you can see, the boss has blackened the bar, so it will go middle 100%. I go to the middle. I hit heavy crash here. So I have the aftershock rune on, which gives you bleed damage basically. But it can help you in these times like this where you can get one extra orb by precasting your ability. I will cast my T skill before the boss arrives, so I can get one extra core because when you use your skill, it consumes all your orbs. As you can see, I get one orb here. I get one orb because of the aftershock. I use my T skill here, it's guaranteed to hit frontal. The boss stays AFK for around 5 seconds. You can hit a lot of abilities here. As you can see, I just need to hit one more blue ability instead of two because I had the core from before from aftershock. I can use a seismic hammer here. Now the maze happens. Now, another tip here. The boss does 3 periodical patterns. It's the souk pattern. You just saw where she dashes forwards and she sucks people. She can either do this, stagger, and find her. I call this pattern find her. I'm sure you understand what I mean, where the boss teleports here, 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 and here, and you must find her. You do understand the pattern I'm talking about. Now, after half meter mech and full meter mech, the boss will do one of these 3 patterns, like 99% of the time. She just did shock pattern, so she cannot do this. So I know that after maze ends, it's either stagger or find her. Just a tip so you can use your cooldowns better. Now, let's see what she does. So the boss ends her maze. I try to fill up my blue meter. Now, This is find here pattern. So the boss will go here, 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 or here. Again, I get a very quick call out. I think that the boss is at the right side. Now I have 1/4 of my meter completed. I try to use full swing most of the time to as meter gen, even without hitting the boss. It really helps out your rotation. So now, because I see that I have already 1/4 of my meter and I have 4 purples up almost, Seismic Hammer is coming off cooldown. I don't need to hit the boss with Seismic Hammer. I just use here a full swing at the air. I use Endure Pain. I go to Seismic Hammer, and then I know that my next. I don't need 30 seconds is too long to wait for T cooldown. So I want to use my full meter with perfect swing. Okay. Now I want to see what's the next pattern. Again, this is the pattern we talked about. This is the pattern where she does the lines or the two suns or the poops. Okay. It doesn't really matter which one of them is because you can hit frontal very easily. So I just use Z perfect swing. The boss is full meter. I gather 3 cores. I probably use full swing here to gain more meter. Okay. Now let's see how we do with this. Now the boss just did find here. Okay. So she cannot do find here again after full meter. She can do stagger, okay, or the shook pattern. She did the shook pattern like 5 patterns ago. I think it's unlikely that she will do it again. So most likely is the stagger pattern coming out. Just to keep in mind. So you can get cores here. I get meter, I use endure pain. Now, most of the time, if you time it right, if you time neither hitting the boss and you hitting perfect swing here, you almost guarantee to hit frontal. Now, if everyone plays well, now you can see that already I have people going here, going here, going here, going here. Now the aggro is pretty random. I should have cast it maybe a little bit sooner, but there is a chance of you getting frozen, so it's better to play safe. Now, I will use perfect swing here. Doesn't really matter if you hit frontal with perfect swing if it's your meter gen. If you're using Z with perfect swing, then yes, it matters if you hit frontal. But now it doesn't really matter because you want to use your your T with Z. So I end up using. Okay, I get some bad RNG. It's fine. Doesn't really matter. The boss does stagger, as I told you before. Probably highest chance it will do stagger. I go outside. I use Earth Eater. I get into Z mode. Probably okay. I use the counter in Z mode is also does some stagger, so I use the Z because I don't want to use another pepper. So I use Z and then I use T skill. I see the boss is already 156, so I know that after this is gonna be 144 mech. So you need to keep in mind to go out after this. I use full swing and then I just back out. Okay. I don't think anyone wants to see this. Okay. Hopefully you know how to do this. Now, you already know that when you go in phase 3, the boss will do one pattern, the boss will do pattern, then will do zoom out, then they will do one other pattern, and then the boss will go to the source. Okay, I think everybody knows this. So let's see the first pattern the boss does. Zeus pattern. This supposedly be a very easy pattern if your team knows what to do. One has aggro. This is the guy that has aggro. This the boss aggro is here, so the boss will move in a straight line. Pretty easy to hit frontal for everyone except me, of course. I use perfect swing here. I clip into the boss. Thank you, Smilegate, for clipping through the boss. It's fine. I use my hyper. I use again my synergy. Instead of heavy crash, you can use your auto attack in Z mode. With your supernova, right before the zoom out, you can use your endure pain so you can tank everything. You just stay here, use all your abilities. Then the boss will do one more pattern. What's the pattern? The button does car pattern again, where she does is here, does is here, and does is here. Okay. This is pretty easy frontal. Now what I'm thinking is, I don't think I have enough time to get my perfect swing up, to get my full meter for perfect swing, because I need to hit heavy crash, into power strike, into seismic hammer, into Z, into perfect swing in like 2 seconds max. I cannot do this. But what I should do here, and what I didn't do, because I messed up, is after seeing the boss does here, I don't have endure pain up, so I need to use spacebar here to tank the explosion, hit heavy crash, and then hit perfect swing without Z. It doesn't really matter, because next we have this big as mechanic where the shots go down and you won't hit the boss anyways. Perfect swing will be back up. But of course I messed up and I couldn't spacebar in time and I get knocked up. It's the same gameplay. It happens, it's fine. So we have the mechanic happening. Let's see, okay, we block. Now I'm just waiting to see what the boss will do. Okay, the boss does handle like this. That means that the boss will teleport to the middle and does the G pattern. G pattern is really easy to hit frontal with. I use seismic hammer, use spacebar, Z skill and perfect swing. Okay, press Z. She does the cage pattern again. I should have spacebar probably. Next pattern she does is teleport pattern. Again, this is really easy pattern to hit frontal with. You just wait and see. Okay. Zeus pattern again. Okay, I know what to do. Now, let's talk about this. This is about not following rotation blindly. Yes, now my highest priority is to hit this skill with a Z. But what is going on right now? Let's see. The boss will start moving forwards. The boss is already at 12 bars. The group is ultra juiced. The boss will die in like 5 seconds. So, if I try to use one more purple and then use this skill, probably the T skill, instead of doing like 8 billion damage, the T skill will do like 5 billion because the boss will have very low HP. The boss will go to 0x and you won't do as much damage as you want. At that moment, I figured that it's better to just hold T-skill and just use perfect swing instead normally. Have full meter, I won't do the same mistake again of going like this. I learned my mistake that I will clip through the boss. So instead of doing this, I do this because perfect swing hitbox is like 270 degrees. You're gonna hit frontal anyways. So instead of clipping through the boss, I decided to hit perfect swing sideways. Okay, as you can see, the boss is already at 6 billion HP and then just goes to 0. I would probably waste this skill if I used it here. Now, 0x mech. At 0x, there are a couple of things to worry about. If you have full meter and T-skill up, you should always, at first or max second pattern of the boss, use your T-skill, because it's already 407. By the time you hit the boss, it's 4. At 3, it's Medusa. At Medusa, the boss probably dies. So you have like 60 seconds, and T-skill is 65-second cooldown. Apply 4 quick recharge runes, so I probably can hit a few quick recharge procs and get to like 50 if I'm lucky. Sometimes I have logs where I don't hit a single quick recharge rune the whole 0x mech. It happens. So what I want you to understand is this. You want to use, if you're full meter and you have T skill up, You want to use this skill as soon as possible, because even if the pattern is not good, because what will happen? Let's say you wait for a good pattern, and the pattern happens like 3-4 patterns down the road, so you won't get to this T skill up. So you will do, let's say, 100 million damage. Obviously, you will do more, but let's say with easy numbers, you will do 100 million damage. If you cast this skill and not hit frontal, you lose around 40% damage. 40% damage loss if non-frontal. So you will do around 60 million damage. But you will get another cast off at this situation. So you will do, let's say, maybe another non-frontal or frontal. Okay, let's see. 60 plus 60. So you will do minimum 120 million damage or maximum 160 million damage. Both cases are higher than 100 million damage. So there are scenarios where CPM is better than frontal percentage. In cases like this, in general, you try to have high frontal. But in cases like this, having lower frontal and better cast per minute is better. So you need to understand this. It's not always this is better or this is worse. It depends on the situation. So let's go to this 0x. As I said, I will try to hit frontal at first pattern. This pattern is very bad to hit frontal. This pattern is the boss does a swipe and this does another swipe, like 2 slaps in a row, where she can change aggro. Or the player who has aggro can move and the boss will do 180. I can see that it's a bad pattern, but I decide to just use it, doesn't really matter. So I use my T skill. Obviously, what happened here is the thing that I explained. The pattern started here, ended here, the boss is AFK here, and suddenly the pattern is not 3 seconds long here, it's like 1.5 seconds. It's too slow, too short of a pattern. I understand the pattern, it takes no time for me to recognize the pattern, but the casting is too long. So I end up in pattern B, re-aggro. This is the re-aggro, this is exactly the thing I was talking about. This is the re-aggro, and I lose the frontal. It happens, but I get 2 casts off, this skill off. Now, next pattern is teleport pattern. See, if I waited for one more pattern, I would guarantee frontal. But it's RNG because you don't know if the second pattern will be good. Maybe second pattern was also bad, so you end up wasting even more time. So in hindsight, I would probably hit frontal on the second pattern, but I didn't. Okay, no big deal. We move on. I can hit perfection here because it's very easy pattern. This is again slap pattern. She does slap again. It's a bad pattern, it's bad RNG here. See, you know, the face changed aggro again. This is counter. It's either fake counter or long real counter. Either way, it's a good ability. It's a good pattern for most abilities, except for T and perfection. It's too RNG for those abilities. Take too long of a cast to hit those. It's fake counter. She does car again. Okay, I explained to you, you need to learn the patterns very quickly and adapt. I use a hitter here. I know the boss will go to the middle. I know I can hit 100% guaranteed of my perfection when she goes to middle. I just wait. Okay, use full swing, use G. The boss after this pattern will stay AFK for like 5-6 seconds. You can hit the boss freely. Let's see the next pattern. Again, okay, so you already know what this is. This is either fake counter or real counter. When I'm standing here, I can hit both the fake counter and the real counter because I can use a hitter and I can hit both just because I'm standing here. If I'm standing here, maybe I can hit the fake counter, but if she does a real counter, there's no way I can hit the hitter here. See how fast you must react to this. I'm already here. You can see my mouse. My mouse is already here, like 0.2 seconds. You must already make the decision to change your cursor to where the boss will be.
I know it's counter. Okay. Also, what I'm noticing is the boss is 313 and this 30x 38 bars. We are not getting to Medusa. I need to use my last aggro with this skill for sure and hopefully with perfect swing as well. You need to change your plan. Most people will wait for Medusa. Now you don't have time for Medusa. You need to adapt to the situation. So right now, this is she does car again. Just because she does car, I know that the second hit is guaranteed for me frontal. I know it. It's quite easy. Let's see what happens when something easy turns out to be kinda hard in the end. Now, if she had aggro on anyone else, if any one of these people have aggro, the boss will do 180 and end up frontal here. It's easy frontal for us. But the guy she has aggro is here. So the boss will end up having the aggro here. So you need to be careful sometimes. Bad things happen, bad RNG, it can happen, unlucky. So let's see how we handle this. I use Atro, I'm in the buff of support, don't need to move. I see the aggro is here. If I use my T skill with my mouse here, it won't be frontal. If I use here, around here, maybe I can hit frontal. So this is what I try. As you can see, my mouse is here and I'm able to hit frontal. Why I'm able to hit frontal? Because the center of mass of my character is here, center of mass is here, of the boss. If the two lines can connect through the frontal indicator, it's a frontal. Hopefully, my T skill is also a small step. I was here, small step of my T got me to here and I can hit frontal. I have used my atropine, so I need to use my perfection as well very soon. So I end up using, basically I'm gambling right now, but I need to go for higher parts. I use an European perfection without seeing what's the next pattern. I get lucky pattern, this is counter pattern, and because of my attack speed, it's either this or real counter, it doesn't really matter because my attack speed is so high with atropine, I can hit anyways. So I hit perfect swing, it's a real counter, and the boss just dies after this counter. The raid leader smartly uses an inner and the boss dies. So I hope you learned some things. This is again around 270 million parts. Not that insane, not that bad, but I think you just understood some more things about the story.